Hello, my name is Adolfo, and this is Life of Adolfo. And today's topic is something that I always hear when you try to compare abroad to the United States. And it's usually between these lines, what I hear is that in America or the United States, everybody's in debt. That you have to enslave yourself to be in the U.S. And that's the reason people go abroad or people go live somewhere else or they don't want to come to the U.S. Now, I'm in Cebu, Philippines. Yes, so we can understand it. I've been here for almost 2 years, but beforehand, I was traveling for 2 years. We'll say 6 months in Mexico, Colombia 3 months, Japan, I believe 2 months. You get the picture. The thing that people don't understand about the United States is that sometimes people, or most of the time in the United States, people are in debt intentionally. They're intentionally in debt. At the same time, it's easy to be in debt in the United States compared to other countries. And I'll give an example. My wife tried to apply for a bank here in the Philippines. She got denied. Then again, she don't work. At the same time, in the U.S., to be able to work, you have to have a bank account so they could give you your direct deposit for payments. As we could see, on one of them, it's a big obstacle. On the other hand, in the United States, it's not an obstacle. I'm not going to say it's a requirement, but they ask for direct deposit. I was in the military. It was easy for me to get a bank account. I was in Great Lakes bank account, Union, and then I went to Navy Federal. And once again, here in the Philippines, for my wife, it was hard. I'm not gonna say it was hard, but they denied her. As in, when it comes to the denial, they say we'll let you know in X amount of days if you get approved. If they don't call you, that means you didn't get approved. So that's the first obstacle of being in debt. Now you may say, what does a bank account have to do with being in debt? You cannot get a credit card. Without a credit card, you cannot get in debt as well. In the U.S., it's easy to get a credit card. Well, for me, it is. I don't have a credit card. I used to have a credit card. I threw it away because I don't like owing money, and I don't like people owing me money. And that's the reason I don't agree with people saying, well, I don't want to pay my tuition and everything, but that's a different story for a different day. It's because there's vehicles around me. And that's the reason I didn't get a credit card. But at the same time, I'm going to get a credit card now because without a credit card, I cannot rent a vehicle. If I cannot rent a vehicle, because requirements in other countries is that to be able to rent a vehicle, it has to be a credit, not a debit card. That's the second reason why Americans are in debt. But the truest reasons, the other two reasons why Americans are in debt compared to other countries is that you build credit. You build credit by owing money. And by owing money and you're building that credit, you have a higher credit score. Once again, I don't owe money. I used to owe money when I bought my house and also my first vehicle. My first vehicle 20 years ago. And that's the way I build my credit. For the past, besides the house, we'll say the past 5 years, I don't have no credit score. No, my credit score is not going up because I don't owe money. Like I said, I hate owing money. Now, that's the primary reason why Americans are in debt. Another reason is that, and like I mentioned about the credit score in other countries, it's hard to build credit if you're not getting nothing handed for you so you can build that credit. It's difficult to get it. So in the U.S., like I mentioned, it's easy. And for the people that are saying, wow, the American is in debt, like I mentioned, it's easier. And the reason it's easier is because they lend you that money. It's because in America, you make a lot more. I'm not going to lie, you make a lot more compared to other countries. In Indonesia, you get paid, we'll call minimum wage because we're going to focus on minimum wage. You make $10 a day. Here in the Philippines, it's around $10 a day. In Mexico, I'm not sure, but I know it doesn't exceed over $30 a day. And as we can see, if you don't make a lot, it's harder to build that credit or ask for money and they expect you to pay it back. Compared to the United States, where minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. Not a day, but an hour. They know that you're able to pay it. And that's the main reason why the U.S. is in debt. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other occasions that in the U.S., people are in debt because they want to keep up with the Jones. When you're trying to keep up with the Jones, you're broke now. Because you're trying to, you owe money just to have a car just like the neighbor. Have a house like the neighbor. Have a swimming pool like the neighbor. And at that time, you're just creating liabilities instead of assets. Well, the house is an asset. And that's one thing that we have to look at the U.S. that the reason why people are in debt is for a good reason. Unless you're trying to keep up with the Jones. And that's all I got. It's just the feeling of what I feel that the reason why they're in debt. Thank you.